Welcome back to the newspaper review. If you're just joining us, we are in a conversation right now with our guests. Thank you for joining us virtually this morning, Joseph Onyekwe.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, I would say happy Easter, and I would first of all ask for your expectations, even as we enjoy the Easter. What is your Easter message, your expectations of hope, even as we celebrate this season to our viewers this morning?
Well, my message is simple. We keep hope alive. I mean, despite the fact that everything is on its knees, I mean, we have to keep hope alive. I'm very optimistic that after 2023, at least there will be some improvement.
Okay, talking about your hope now, I mean the optimism 2023, let's talk about the elections. We have major news from PDP and APC in the papers this morning, and we have that PDP opts for indirect primary, may prune 17 aspirants. Please help us understand direct primary, indirect primary consensus. First of all, how is that? How does that connect with those that are going to vote for the forthcoming elections? How is this selection process going to affect us, and what does it mean, you know, to the average Nigerian out there?
Well, the truth of the matter is that if you notice, the Electoral Act has to provide for these three modes: the consensus, the direct and indirect mode of primaries. So the essence of the Electoral Act providing for these three is to ensure that either of those that is adopted by any political party will be acceptable. So how does this affect Nigerians? Well, you know that most times, even when, okay, let me explain it first. The indirect primaries means that the parties are adopting delegate mode. They are going to pick delegates from their party who will come to vote. Then the direct primaries means that every member of the political party will vote. Initially, the lawmaker favored direct primaries, but the president, if you recall, rejected the Electoral Act on the basis of that, insisting that it is very expensive to conduct, you know, for every member of the political party to cast a vote. So that is where the line is drawn between what is done in the political parties and how it affects the voters. You know that the indirect primaries, that is the delegate, is not every member of the party that is going to vote. So already some of these politicians know those who will form the delegates. So their campaign involves those people. They target them in their campaign for votes. So once they pick the ticket, they begin to represent their party. Then the electorate comes in at that particular point in time. So at the end of the day, you find out that the electorate are also at the mercy of this politician, because we don't even have independent candidacy where someone can just come out and declare that we want to run alone. You must be sponsored by a political party according to our laws. So at the end of the day, we all as the electorate are at the mercy of the political party. So we only hope that they allow the best to emerge and not use their Nigerian factor thing and scuttle the process and present to us unacceptable and unpopular candidates. But all the same, remember that there are some other minor political parties apart from the two major political parties who are presenting candidates that are, well, you can say, look bright. But the major problem we have in Nigeria is that once you are not in the major political parties, your chances are very slim, because Nigerians will look at it that you don't even have a platform yet.
I was going to come to the so-called minor political parties. Now, if these parties are applying the direct primaries and then the electorates can choose and say this is who we want. If, for instance, the two main political parties that we have seen in Nigeria so far use their indirect primaries to give maybe candidates that are not entirely acceptable to the electorate, aren't the electorates are in a better position? Because if we say the electorate are at the mercy of political parties now, are they not in a better position to leave and go to another, political party and probably give out their own franchise there where they can now choose directly? Isn't it a better decision for the electorate?
Certainly, it's a better decision, but that is for an environment where things work normally. In Nigeria, that Nigerian factor thing is very broad, that it defies every definition.
Okay, let's say things work normally. Let's just say, what is the standard? What is supposed to go?
If things work normally, no electorate should even panic for anything political parties are doing. All we need to do is to keep our calm and watch them. If you do mago and then use money politics and smuggle yourself in there, and then we just laugh at you. All we need to do is just simply move ahead. Go to all these other political parties and elect them. So somebody we believe in. For me as a person, I don't have, I'm not pleased with candidates who are career politicians. Honestly, they have failed us severally.
So what do you mean by career politicians? What do you mean by
What I mean by career politicians is those who all their life have not actually distinguished themselves in any entrepreneurship. All they've done is been in politics from day one, and they have earned all their living in politics. They've groomed their children, and their associates and allies to take over or to run politics together with them. So you find out that all around them, and from the period they left school, all they have done is politics, and that is where they have earned their income and life from. So they can't do anything outside politics. So if I were to be the representative of the electorates of Nigeria, I would disappoint them. I won't vote for such people. I want to look for people who have managed companies, who have created wealth, who are people who have one way or the other been able to achieve something personally in life, then develop interest to now develop Nigeria again. So if you have not developed anything, if you have not created the wealth, you have not done anything outside politics, you've been in the system from the beginning, and you promises, you fail, you promise, you fail, and the time has come again. Now you're coming up with promises again. Certainly, we know how it's going to end up. You are going to fail.
Okay.
So we need to try someone else, in my opinion.
Okay, let's look at what the APC is doing now. In the papers as well this morning, we have APC primaries. Tinubu, Oshibaja, Mechi, others scramble for 7,800 delegates. 7,800 delegates are going to be choosing all of these people. Now, looking at what is even going on here, it looks like the APC angle and the PDP angle almost have similar patterns going on right now. Or do you understand exactly what is happening in the APC sects as it is right now? Because if they are going to be using this pattern, and there are still some people that are, ready to declare their intentions of, coming out as president, would 7,800 delegates do the magic that is needed for APC to still remain in power, to change, the narrative, to give people a better view of what they think about the administration right now?
What you have to understand is that the two political parties are the same, and they are watching each other, if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
The reason why most of the things they are doing are lingering is because while they are doing what they are doing, by the side of the eyes, they are watching what this other one is doing. So they don't want the other party to outsmart them in this decision making, because the idea is that any of the decisions they make this period of time, and if there's an error, is one way or the other going to haunt them, because the other party will, counter it. So for me, the APC, they are also interested in the delegates. They want to, use the indirect primaries to conduct their own this thing.
Okay, let's talk about somebody's announcement this morning. Now, students are at home because ASU is on strike, but the headline that we have this morning is saying ASU strike, your presidential ambition dead on arrival, angry students blast Ngige. Now, let me give you a brief read to this so that our viewers understand where this story is coming from. Now, the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, on Sunday got more than he bargained for following his disclosure that he will be declaring his intention to run for the 2023 presidential race on Tuesday. He's going to be making the declaration on Tuesday. Ngige said God had spoken to him regarding his presidential bid, hence he would make a public declaration on Tuesday. Before we talk about his public declaration, I'd like to ask, isn't it ironic that those that are in this current administration are coming out to say that they want to, come out to campaign to lead in this same country where people have complained about their work? Don't you think it is important that they first of all sort out the problems on ground before they even think about coming out to vote? Because coming out to, declare for any office at all, because the way the students have responded to this right now, he has not even declared. And look at the comments that we're having on in the papers this morning. What do you think about his presidential ambition?
What I'm thinking is that he has the right to contest for the president of Nigeria. He has the legal right, he has the constitutional right to aspire to contest. What unfortunately I discover is that elections are not won on Facebook. All those people who are ranting on Facebook about his ambition, for me, is inconsequential. They are just talking because they are just misplacing aggression. They should talk to the heads of the government, who is the one. Ngige is just an errand boy. For me, on several occasions, I have been asked to represent my organization in mediation. Maybe somebody sues us and I went to mediate. Before I go, I've been given instruction on what to admit and what not. So no matter what you say, I will stand on the position of my office. So you'll be looking at me that, why are you not making concession? I won't make concession. I'm not the one that's going to pay. So he's an errand boy in the cabinet. He goes to meeting with ASU. His principal will tell him this is what we want. So what do you expect? And let me tell you, everybody you see in the cabinet of the present federal government, they are really qualified to run government to do things on their own.
Why do you think so? Why do you think they are all qualified?
Why I think so is because the head determines everything. The people you see there, it's like now they want to run for presidency. They don't even have any achievement to campaign with. It's not their fault. It's the fault of the government they serve. So the major contestants in the APC in this dispensation are handicapped because they have nothing to campaign with. Number one, if you want to say I want to do it better, your boss looks at you like, okay, I have not done well. Then you want to say, what will you use?
But most of them are campaigning anyways. They are just overlooking their bosses.
They will have to, but what are they going to say? Some of them are just between the devil and the deep blue sea. They'll be saying, okay, I want to continue on the legacies of my principal. People look at you with one side of the eye and say, what is this guy saying? You want to continue with what? So they're all prevaricating, saying this and that. But definitely they will have to campaign anyhow. But it will hit up more when they are close, when one of them has won the primaries, and now we'll be able to say, call the bluff of this government to say, look, I will fix light, I will fix this, so our government who are not able to fix it. So people talking about they're trying to come to contact, and they look at the people commenting, they principally coming from one section of the country. They don't want to talk about the person who has the government, who has brought everything to its knees in this country. And they're talking about an individual who definitely will do something differently on his own. When the head is rotten, what happens to the entire body system? So for me, that's the transferred aggression. They should blame the principal. They will blame the individual who has the government, who has ensured that everything is bastardized in this country, that everything is crippled. This man has no power to or command ASU to return to classrooms, this man cannot approve revitalization allowances of the ASU. It cannot authorize the use of quotas by ASU. He has no power to do all those things. All he's doing is representing he's an errand boy. So if he now has the government, assuming he comes out, contests, and is elected, I'm sure he will not run his government the way this present government is running. In my own personal view, everybody who is in that cabinet knows that their boss is a failure. But they can't say it because that's where they get their bread. But I'm sure that no other candidate will be as bad as what we heard now, whether it's from the PDP or from the APC or from the SYZ party.
So when you are appointed a minister, you should have been in that position from your wealth of experience. So I'm looking at your statement saying that, you know, this administration is not giving them a track record to be able to claim, to be able to hold on to, but they had experiences from wherever they are coming from. So isn't that, you know, enough to be able to solve the problem on ground? I know, yes, you say they are under authority and they have to do whatever they're told to do, but they have a track record, they have experiences. Whoever you are as a minister you cannot be coming empty-handed. So isn't that something that, you know, should be able to solve a current problem before you even advertise a new position for us to vote you in?
My dear, the thing is that you are a journalist, you don't understand the politics of Nigeria. There's a lot of sophistry. There's a lot of sophistry in government and sorcery. This government thing you see is not as simple as you imagine it. These people have their ideas, they have their personal track records as individuals. When you enter into government, it won't be easy for you. I can cite you examples of those who have entered into, but the problem we have is our own political system, our environment. We don't have people who come to government with integrity and honor. We have people who just go to feed their families. If we have, you will resign when you notice that government is not agreeing with you. Civil service structure is another satanic institutions we have in this country. I'm sorry to use that word. Because of the kind of things they do there, they are the ones even helping to corrupt the politicians. You will not understand all these things. So you can come as a minister, you have your ideas, you want to implement them, they financially can cripple you. You won't be able to even do anything because there's nothing you can do without finances. And then you bring idea, you have to go for approval in the Federal Executive Council for these ideas to be crystallized, and somebody shuts it down. Who is your principal? You will just be handicapped. But in Nigerian environment, they will hang on there just because of the perks of office and the other things they get. In other climes, you resign immediately. People will know that you are disagreeing with this government because they are not accepting, allowing you to fly, to do the things you want to do the way you want to do them and achieve results. So in Nigeria, every politician in Nigeria who wants to go into power is going there for self-aggrandizement because they want to feather their nest, because they want to continue to remain relevant. If not for all this, my dear, you just go there, you want to do your thing, it's not working out. You put away. Look at somebody here who was an activist in Lagos, a lawyer, senior advocate, who was always criticizing government. Now he's joined the third government. Have you heard his voice? He's even defending it. When this government passes now, he will come back tomorrow to begin to talk another thing. So that is the kind of thing we see. The government corrupts even good people once we go there because of our peculiar system. Well, we work a system that is not working, and people know it's not working, and yet they are hanging on there because they need to survive. They need to feed their families.
I really wish we could. I wish we could continue on this conversation because it's quite delicate. Since he's announcing on Tuesday, we'd probably have to look at it again. Thank you so much for joining us. However, as a journalist, I have to say that I know what is going on in politics. I must tell you, I have to say that.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
You will know, but until you join politics, you know more.
I don't have to join politics. Thank you so much for joining us on the newspaper review, Joseph Onyekwere.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
having me. Have a great day ahead.